everyone, my name's Tosha Hays of Creating Fashion. Today I'm going to be interviewing Daniela Bascunan, who's worked for really cool brands like Victoria's Secret, Under Armour, LL Bean. She has her own line called Frolic Design, and she's going to be talking to us about how she makes these amazing artisan handbags in Guatemala. She's going to tell us some trade secrets, some really cool things that only insiders know. So if you're interested in learning about making handbags, you want to start your own line, then you should really listen to this and enjoy the show. Thanks so much.
So thank you so much for having me on here. So Frolic is such a passion project for me. I started it about 5 years ago or so. And like you mentioned, I have been working in the fashion industry for a very long time. And I've been very lucky to be able to travel the world. I'm also originally from Chile. So I feel like I grew up with artisan craft around me. It's something that I've always been drawn to. And in all my travels, that's something that I was always drawn to. So I just decided, you know what, like I love textiles, I love indigenous fabrics and craft, and I decided to form Frolic about 5 years ago and work directly with artisans. So I travel to Guatemala any chance that I get. I've traveled to other countries as well that have a beautiful artisan craft, and I sort of started building almost like I call it like a curated collection of things that I've seen and just was really drawn to. And one of the highlights for me is to really partner with artisans, specifically in Guatemala, and actually create fabrics from scratch. So as we all know,
you give them inspiration and then they copy it. How does that work?
No, so actually it's very different than the fashion, like the real fashion, not the real fashion industry, but the fashion industry. It's very different. It's a much more organic, I would say, process. So one of the things that is really beautiful about Guatemala is that the artisans that I work with, they're all in the highlands of Guatemala. They're all around this lake. It's called Lake Atitlan. And they're all Mayan descendants. So the techniques that they use and their designs have been passed down for generations. I mean, not hundreds, thousands of years. So these are really authentic. It has a lot of meaning. There's a lot of Mayan meanings behind it. There's a lot of symbolism, and they just happen to be beautiful. So I really just go there and I sort of see what they already have. I sort of start picking things that I'm drawn to, and I'll find a fabric that I love, but then I'll ask, okay, what if we added like a metallic thread? What if we did this to it? Could you do this to the pattern? So I make sure that it's a very organic process with them.
When you find something and you ask them to make it for you, how long does it take? Is it like months or weeks or days?
It depends on what it is. This is what they do. They grow up learning this craft from the age of like 6 years old. Like it's something that they just grow up with. It's passed down family to family. So depending on what it is, it can be a long process. This is not the scenario where you talk to them about something and 3 days later you have a sample.
This is an artisan craft. They're makers.
Yes.
They're doing it with their hands. Now, can you show us some of the pieces?
Yes, of course. So this is what I would say also. This is what I call slow fashion. This is why, because it is all handmade. So not only is the fabric handmade, and this is one of the first fabric that I designed with one of the artisan. I actually just met him on the street. So it was just like a really wonderful sort of friendship that grew out of that.
Is that printed or is it yarn dyed? Is the color in the yarn or is it printed onto the fabric?
It's not a print. So Guatemala is known for their textiles that are made on the backstrap loom or the foot loom. So this is all hand woven. One, they use all natural dyes. So there's no synthetic dyes used in any of the products. And with natural dyes, it's amazing the brightness that you can get in color. It's just really beautiful. Wow. And then what they start doing is once, they choose the color or I choose the colors, they spin the yarn, they tie the pattern into knots. It's incredible to see, all hand knotted, like one by hand. And then they dye the fabric in the natural dye bath. Once they dye it and it dries for a couple of days, then it gets all the little knots get untied, and then it goes into the weaving process. And as it's woven, because of the way they've tied the knots, it creates the pattern. So
it's like, oh, the striations.
Yes.
And oh, I see. So this is all like one yarn, just in different colors.
And in Guatemala, it's called jaspe. In other areas of the world, and you can also refer to this as ikat. There's a few different, I think, words you can use for this technique. The techniques, I think, are very similar.
Do they make the fabric and then you have the bags made, or do they do the whole thing?
So it depends on the artisan. This particular artisan that I work with, he has his family business. So his dad passed it on to him. So they do everything in-house. So they not only make the yarn, and not only do they tie it by hand and weave it, then they also have the capability to actually make the bag as well. I don't think you'll be able to see it too much on video, but there's a little bit of like a metallic thread in it, which was sort of like what I wanted to do. And it was cute. He
had your flair to it.
Yes, he had never worked with a metallic thread before, so he was also super excited as he was working on these pieces. It was almost like he was learning something new.
Do you have other things that you can show us?
Yeah, it was 3 pieces. So I did this this cute crossbody round bag, which is, I think, really on trend.
Oh, very nice.
Super easy. You can see the same pattern, so same fabric. And then I did this this tote bag. So it fits a laptop. It's very, you can see it's very sturdy, and it's all done with fabrics that I actually collaborated.
How often do you go to Guatemala and do your, your kind of your designing and making?
Yeah, so I try, before pandemic, I was trying to go once a year for like about 10 days. In this last year, I've learned how to work really through WhatsApp and messaging. They all have WhatsApp. So even though it's low technology, meaning we don't use Illustrator tech packs. We don't even really use sketches. Everything is very, everything's hand-drawn on a notebook.
So your collection, do you do apparel, accessories, bags? What is it?
Yeah, so right now I've been doing mostly accessories, so little bags, clutches, things like that. I call myself a collector of textiles. I also collect, when I travel to not only Guatemala but other countries, I love indigenous beautiful textiles that people can use for home decoration and things like that. So I also do sell textiles that people can purchase on the website that they can use as needed. And then one of the little projects that I'm working on for this year is actually to focus a little more on the home textile aspect of it. So working on ideas for pillows and poofs and just things for the home. I think all of us, including myself, I've been decorating like crazy this last year, and I love to have a little bit of like a global feel to my home. These are things that I really love and feel really passionate about. So that's sort of something I'm working on for like the next step of Frolic.
Ooh, that sounds awesome. That sounds exciting. Now, where can people find some of your pieces? Like if I wanted to go, or any of the viewers wanted to go on and see and find some, where would they go?
Yep. So right now I'm direct to consumer. So I have a website, also Instagram. So my website is Frolic Design. Same with my Instagram, it's Frolic Design. And you can shop directly through Instagram or even Facebook or through my website.
Tell us like one of your favorite places in Guatemala, like a secret favorite place.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's going to be food related.
Oh, that's fine.
So the main town that a lot of the work that I talked about with the natural dyes, it's all based out of this tiny little, it can't even be called a town. It's a small village on Lake Atitlan, and it's called San Juan La Laguna, which La Laguna means lake.
Okay.
And there is the most amazing cheese and wine bistro cafe. You can work with artisans. You can learn all about natural plant dyes and just look at beautiful product all day long, be surrounded by all these beautiful artisans, and then you can go by the shore of the lake, have yourself like a nice glass of wine and the most amazing cheese platter, and
That sounds lovely.
I know I had to pick food, but there's so many. I mean, there's so many hidden places, but that sort of is a full day of like amazingness.
Okay. So food is so inspiring. It helps you get inspired to create beautiful textiles.
I cannot be hangry.
Yeah, exactly. Me either. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you and showing us your beautiful bags. And I can't wait to see the home collection.
Thank you so much for having me.